What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a quick DIY installation and unboxing video of the brand new Mini Innofader PNP long life ultra low profile crossfader. This actually is a fader that can also be used in some line faders depending on your application. So it's just a very high quality fader. It's the same fader that was introduced with the Native Instruments Tractor Control Z2. We have that here. We reviewed it. We loved the stock fader that it came with, and it's the same fader that we have here. A lot of scratch DJs swear by it. It lasts a long time. It's really, really good. It's really smooth, and you can also make minor adjustments to it, such as the cut-in distance. You can also change the curve adjustment to it, and you can also change the polarity, meaning you can switch A side to B side if your mixer already doesn't have the hamster or reverse control switch. So we have a very nice fader here. This one is going to go into the Pioneer DJM-T1. This is a tractor mixer. The fader is okay. We like the fader for the review, but when we dive a little bit deeper into it, we found a few shortcomings that we think the Mini Innofader PNP will take care of. Again, it's the short-bodied fader, so this can fit in many, many different mixers and controllers that the longer-bodied original Innofader could not fit in. So a few years ago, they created the original Innofader, which was a long-bodied fader that can fit into most of your mixers, and then mixers and also controllers started having less and less space in them, so they made a creation called the Innobender, so that way that the body can be more horizontal, so that way they can fit it into your mixers or your controllers. And now they come along with the Mini Innofader PNP, and this is good for your short body applications or for applications where it's just too hard to fit something like a full-size Innofader in there. So the reason why you would want an Innofader over your traditional fader is because, again, the materials and everything is just a lot smoother. It's built to last. And again, you have the adjustments that you can make when you are setting this up. So you can set it up for the polarity, again, for the hamster switching. You can set it up for the curve, and you can also set in your cut-in points. And you can't do that with your traditional faders that come on your controllers and your mixers. So they have the Mini Innofader PNP. This is the P model, which is more of a plug-and-play style model that comes with a bunch of different adapters and cables that just kind of plug in and can work with a lot of different mixers and controllers that are already out there on the market today. Then there's the PNP-S edition that is for soldering. That way you can go in and actually solder this to the boards of your actual mixer or controller. We don't have that model here, but maybe one day I do know how to solder, so maybe we can go in and dive into some controllers or some other gear that can transplant a PNP-S. But this is the PNP-P model. We'll go ahead and do a quick unboxing, and we'll also fit this directly into the DJM-T1 and let you guys know how simple and easy it is to do. All right, everyone, so here it is. This is the Mini Innofader PNP-P edition, the more plug-and-play edition, because it comes with the different cables and cords, so that way you can attach it without having to solder. Again, this is available for many, many different mixers and controllers. In order to find out if your mixer is compatible or controller, you can go to innofader.com/compatible.php, and they'll give you a big, big list there of all of the different mixers and controllers that this will fit in. And it can possibly fit in other mixers and controllers as well. So if you don't see your mixer listed there, don't just give up quite so easily. You might want to contact Innofader directly. Elliot will hit you back, and he'll let you know if they're available. So first and foremost, we got some cool Innofader stickers. Some stickers for your records. The labels for your records, anyway. And then you get your fader PNP instructions. Tells you how to test to make sure you have it plugged in correctly and that everything is working right. Your check, stop, and goes. And then they also tell you how to get your perfect scratch. That way you can get your perfect cut in, your perfect curve, and your perfect polarity. You do this by pressing the button on the fader and moving the fader left and right in different motions in order to calibrate exactly how you need to. All right, next up we have a host of different cables included in the pack. And we'll them, you have a small cable here, 3-pronged cable. You have a 4-pronged cable, 3-pronged at one end, 4 at the other. Then you also have another smaller 3-pronged male cable with a 4-pronged other end. Then there is a female and male end. There's 4 prongs on the female end, or 3 prongs on the female end and 4 prongs on the male end. So all of these are different cables to fit your different devices. You have your wide 4 male and your 4 female, another 4 female and small 4 connector, and then you also have your 3-pin connector to your 4 female. You also get some fader lubrication, so you can fade and lubricate it up. Every so often you put a few drops in there and you're good to go. Alright, that's the Innofader itself, the PNP edition itself. Already has some leads coming off of it. There is a few LED lights here so you can check to make sure you have everything set up correctly. And the fader itself, nice long stem. It doesn't have such a wide stem as the original Innofader or the PNP that we installed on the Z2 some time ago, but I've never really heard of the fader stems breaking as much as the fader itself giving out. But again, really smooth. I can see that they have the official dual rail system in there, so you know you're getting a really high quality fader, high quality product. So that's the fader itself. Okay, next up we have 2 fader caps and a bunch of different washers and another connector, just in case I guess you mess one up. So you have washers that will allow you to adjust the height of your fader, so that way this is not sticking up too high out of your mixer or your controller. Next up you have some more hardware. This looks like screws, different screws that you can use for installation, different varying types, sizes, and colors. And then we have finally the different plates that you can use. These are adapter plates, and you'll use the different plates to attach your fader to your mixer, and you use different plates for different mixers. Okay, so right now we have the mixer here, and all we have is the items we need, which is the fader caps, possibly some washers. We also have the Pioneer fader plate that we're going to need to attach to the original fader plate. We also have the Mini Innofader PNP, and then we have the 3-pronged small cable that we're going to use to attach the PNP to the mixer. So first ups first, we have to actually remove the top panel of the DJM-T1. We can do that easily by actually unscrewing the screws that you have here, the 8 screws, and removing the fader caps. That way you can slide the entire top of the mixer over and it will reveal the fader underneath. It's easier to do it that way on this mixer because some of these knobs are actually bolted down to the faceplate. So instead of trying to take all that off, we can just easily flip this over to its side. So we'll start by removing the screws. And now for the P-lock fader caps, we got to do those as well. So we've got all of our caps out the way now. As we explained, we'll be able to completely take the top of the mixer off, and you can turn it over on its side to reveal the rest of the mixer. And now you can see the fader area here, and you can see that we're going to need the adapter plate. So then you want to remove the original fader. And now, all right, now that we've got that out, we can unplug it. You can see the original fader is here, and you can see it has a whole lot of bracketry. We're going to reuse this bracket, so we're going to completely remove the entire fader. There's not much space in there. As you can see, there's some boards in there right beyond here, so it might be difficult to fit a full-size Innofader in there. Therefore, this one fits. You can also see this is a 3-pronged connector, which is why we're using the 3-pronged cable to go with it, because that's going to fit directly into those 3 slots. And we can test to make sure we have everything correct before we button everything back up again. So first thing is we're just going to connect the fader. We don't have any power just yet. We're going to actually get this mount off of this fader as well. Okay, so we can remove it. And this is the fader that's in there. It's a little bit plasticky feeling, and it's got gears and things in there that you can see here. You can see like the free floating gear down there. It's just kind of a wacky design for a fader, in my opinion anyway. So we're going to upgrade it with the Mini Innofader PNP. And first off, we're going to do a quick check. So we've got to run power to the mixer. We're going to make sure the mixer's off first, and we're going to plug in our power connection to the back. Now that we have power, we'll make sure that the fader is set to check. That way we can check to make sure we have the wiring correct. So right now it is to check. The switch is all the way up here, and we can turn it all the way up to check. And we can plug it all in here. And we'll turn it on and see what color LED we get. All right, we're getting red now. It was green before. So we're going to turn it back around. It was right the first time. Turn it back on, and we've got the green light back. That means we're ready to go. So we can turn it off, and we make sure we switch this switch now all the way down to the ready mode, so that way we can actually use it when we're ready. For now, we're going to unplug the power until we're actually ready to install it. So first, we're going to have to attach the plate that we get with the PNP with the plate that is already here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to use the original Pioneer DJM-T1 fader plate, and we want to attach it to the shiny small silver face plate or fader plate that comes with the Innofader. So first we're going to attach the Innofader to the small tiny fader plate. And we do this using the really small flat Phillips head screws that come with the Innofader PNP. Okay, once we get that down, that's what that's going to look like. And now we want to attach the large fader plate to this one. And you can see they're going to line up the holes right. Actually, got this backwards. We're going to line up the holes right there. And that's how it's going to be installed into the mixer. But first, we're going to use the long, shiny screws that are supplied by the Innofader. And these are long because you want to actually build this up and put some washers in between these two metal plates here. Not only for, you know, a good surface contact, but also so that you can raise the height of this, so that way your fader stem isn't sticking up too far beyond the point of entry on your faceplate. So you don't want these really high fader stems. You want it to be the exact height of the fader stems that the stock fader has. So in order to do that, we're going to put about 3 washers on each side to build this up slightly before we screw in the long silver screws. Okay, once you have your washers in place, you want to just tighten it down. Make it nice and snug. Now that we have some height built up. Make sure you got it level on both sides. And as you can see, you've got a little space in between there. And that's perfect, so we can slide it right into the mixer. And we're now ready to attach the factory points back. And we're also ready to put it all back together again. Again, you're going to want to make all of your adjustments prior to buttoning everything up. I've already made some minor adjustments, so I'm already good to go. In order to make adjustments, you have your sheet here. There's a button underneath the fader that you actually have to press, and you keep holding it down, and you can adjust the cut in by changing the direction of the fader a few times back and forth in different selections, and that way you'll be able to adjust the cut in. The cut in distance you can increase or decrease by 0.15 millimeters at a time in those increments, so you can get it really tight for your perfect cut in. You can also adjust the type of linear or sharp curve that is set, or you can keep it as default the way it is. And you can also adjust the polarity, meaning you can hamster or reverse the polarity of the fader as well. So we got this one in there exactly how we need it. We're just going to put it all together, and we're going to show you how this all works. Okay, now that we have everything plugged in, everything's ready to go, everything's buttoned up, the fader is very smooth, the cut in is very sharp. It's very smooth, it's very slick. It feels absolutely perfect. So that's basically it. This is the Mini Innofader PNP. We had to use the supplied caps, and they feel very nice, very smooth. It's very light, and I'm just dying to really start using this Innofader PNP on the new DJM-T1. So check back for more on this full write-up. You can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. You can also click the link at the top of this video description. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.